Time now for the Lemon Cohen Report. Joining Don Lemon is none other than Mr. Michael Cohen, or Michael Cohen joining Don Lemon, or Don Lemon joining Michael Cohen. Michael, we have a lot to talk about. I've been under the weather, sorry, and traveling. But
first we missed you yesterday at the Dan Abrams Mediaite function. It was quite the foray of individuals from both sides. I spent some time with Jessica Tarlov. I spoke with Scott Jennings. Megyn Kelly was there. I have no regard for her, so I didn't even say hi. Mika was there, of course, with Joe Scarborough, Caitlin Collins, a lot of folks, Dino Badala. It was a very interesting, well-attended event. I thought you would be there, being a New York City guy yourself.
Yeah, I would have been there, but one, I've been under the weather, and two, there was a leak in the radiator in my apartment that was leaking into the my neighbor downstairs.
Ooh, that's a nice insurance claim.
Yeah, I know. We had to get a plumber to come out, and I wanted to make sure that I had to be here, and I feel horrible for missing it, but sounds like it was a lot of fun.
It was quite the interesting thing. Let me just begin by saying to people, please don't forget, if you like Don Lemon, I know many don't, so if you like Michael Cohen, smash the hearts over there and make sure that at the very top in that Chiron, if you subscribe to me, please subscribe to Don and vice versa, because that's the whole goal here, to keep building the community. Don, go ahead.
So smash the hearts. I was just saying, I'm sorry I missed it, but there are some folks there I would rather not hang out with, some folks you mentioned, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Still, I think I would have had a good time. So, Michael, what do you want to talk about first? I shouldn't have said that I was surprised, but I kind of was, with Donald Trump's response to the death of Rob Reiner and his wife, really the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife. And I just thought that, maybe he had maybe somehow he would do the right thing, but yet and still he couldn't find it in himself. It was vile.
When I saw the post, my first reaction was that this cannot be real.
Same.
And so I went onto my computer and I started to look for others who are acknowledging its authenticity. ABC, NBC, MS Now. I saw it in New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal. The shock was felt around the world. I cannot begin. I then went to the Truth Social site, and I could not believe, when I punched in his name onto it, that I was able to find it so quickly to validate its authenticity. I then decided I wanted to see something interesting, Don. I wanted to see what the MAGA supporters, what those individuals who follow Trump on Truth Social had to say. Because I certainly remember, Don, when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, when Donald Trump was shot at, not once, but potentially twice. Things that you and I said here to this audience, to audiences everywhere on all platforms, that this sort of behavior is unacceptable. It's not tolerated, and most importantly, it needs to be condemned in its most fervent of way. But that's not what we got from the President of the United States when he put this out. By the way, there was no knowledge at that time released to the public that it was the son who had potentially committed the double homicide.
No, it was out there. When he made that statement, it was out there. People magazine had reported it exclusively, that it was the son. And I think TMZ as well, but other folks were waiting for some
confirmation.
Other confirmation, but it was out there that it was the son. And regardless, the thing that he got so bent out of shape, and a lot of the folks on the MAGA side about Charlie Kirk and how people responded to Charlie Kirk. I didn't see anyone who matters taking glee in Charlie Kirk's death. I saw the exact opposite. I saw people being compassionate about it and empathetic about it. Yeah. And then, later saying, I don't agree, or in the beginning saying, look, I don't agree with anything that he said politically, but no one should die that way. It's awful. I feel bad for his wife. I feel bad for his widow. That and okay, I think that's an okay response. But the way Donald Trump did it was just, yeah, it was just, it's beyond. And I had a few choice words to say about it. And some people were, I think people said that I spoke for them, and others were, oh, Don Lemon, whatever. Those people don't
Well,
really
what were
matter.
the words, lemonade?
I said that he was a vile, disgusting, um, small, what man, small penis man, and that he sounded like he's doing something like that as what a pause does, a piece of shit does. That's what I said, and I just think it was awful, and I said that um, Rob Reiner and his wife couldn't say it. Other folks won't say it. The statement that Barack Obama put out was a very um, a very nice statement that tried to console and bring people together, and his was very divisive. And I said, Barack Obama is a better person than I am, so I am going to give Donald Trump the same energy that he gives everyone else, and I'm going to tell you what I think. And this is what I think. I think that he is and then I said, F him. That's what I said.
All right. Listen, everyone's entitled to say what they want. I mean, clearly, if you can turn around and you can make the statements about a double homicide, I mean, if you're not going to have compassion for
For that.
those who are not here to defend themselves, think about what you had here. You had a family of 5, mom, dad, 3 children. Mom gone, dad gone, child number 1 going to prison, mostly for life. There's no doubt, for life.
Yeah.
Okay? So what do you have left? You have 2 siblings, you have 2 children. And when I say children, they're clearly, they're over the age of 18,
You mean
right?
his children?
I'm talking about, the Reiner children, the 2 that are left. One of them is going to prison. The other 2, the other son and the daughter, are now orphans, having to live with the tragedy of their own sibling, their brother, who had a significant drug addiction, was actually homeless, from what I understand, from
Mhm.
people who know the family that live in LA that are friends of mine. And even if he pleads insanity, it doesn't make a difference. He will be away from his siblings forever. Not that
Mhm.
they would want to have anything to do with him anyway, but the sheer sorrow. I don't even know how one could quantify the sorrow that the 2 remaining children must feel
Especially
right
the one
now.
who found him.
Exactly, her. Yeah, the daughter.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
but
tragic.
look, you said if they wanna see, I think that they might wanna see him. I mean, siblings they're close, and, you never know. Look, I can't speak for my siblings or anything like that, because I can't imagine, but, um, I think my siblings would at least wanna talk to me and say, "What the hell is wrong with you? Why would you do something like that?"
I
But
don't think they would,
I
Don.
don't know.
I don't think they
I
would.
don't know.
Think about just the act, the sheer act in and of itself, to your parents. I don't I can't imagine wanting to ask that person anything. There is no I would have the inability, and I know myself, and maybe I'm not godly or I'm not honorable that way, but I would want to have nothing to do. I would never want to hear or lay eyes on the person that took my parents, from me, especially, before. It's one thing if unfortunately there's something that happens, right? Like a sickness, an illness, that's not something really that you could control. But this one was so horrific. It was brutal in every way, shape, or form. And yeah, I can't imagine the daughter, finding the parents this way and ever wanting to speak to the sibling again. I know I wouldn't. And maybe
Well,
I'm
Michael,
not.
let me just say that, and that's you, and I respect that, but I don't think you should underestimate the human capacity for forgiveness. Now, that doesn't mean they forget. But don't underestimate that. I mean, look at what Erica Kirk said about the man who killed her husband. She said, I forgive him. Now, that doesn't mean that you absolve them of it. It doesn't mean that you're not angry at them. You don't have certain kinds of feelings about them. But, and I can't imagine the hurt and the pain. I don't know how they're going to feel, but I would just say, don't underestimate the human
Oh, I'm not.
capacity
I'm just underestimating
to
my
forgive
own.
your own. Yeah, for
I'm
your
just
own. But
I know
I could,
myself well enough. I could not forgive.
yeah, I can, yes, I understand that. I don't know if I could, um,
I would like
but
to. I just don't
I
know if
think
I
I
could.
might, but I think I might, but I
I
don't know
said
until
that.
I
You're
put.
a better man than I am when it comes
Yeah,
to
I
that.
think I
Yeah.
might, but I can't say that because you look, who I mean, who wants to be in that position and even think about it?
Nobody.
It's
Yeah.
just terrible. But again, back to the president.
And then to try to politicize something like this, right? This is not about, unfortunately, mental health, about the drug addiction issue in America, or all of the sociological issues that families deal with every single day. No, no, we have to make it all about one
Politics
person,
and him.
politics, and Trump.
Yeah.
This is all about Trump derangement syndrome. This is all about his being deranged, hatred, and so on. And I'm so saddened and I'm disappointed that, one, that post went out, because once you put a post like that out, there is no coming back from it. All
So
right.
you think he had to double down on it when they because he was asked about it yesterday in the White House. You think he had to double down?
Sure, because you know Trump as well as most. You know that he will never accept fault or criticism or even being wrong. So, how is he supposed to come out and say, I was wrong. I apologize. I shouldn't have said it, and so on. That's what an adult would do when you make a mistake. You apologize for it. You try to explain, I hated him for everything that he said about me, the Russia hoax, and so on. And, in a moment of lack of clarity or in a moment of personal weakness, I said something that I deeply regret. It certainly will never pale to the incredibly kind and human words that came out of Barack Obama's mouth, or I should say his post. It can never come close to touching that. But Trump will never acknowledge mistake. And so, therefore, he had no choice but to double down.
Well, he first of all, a couple things. I don't think he has the capacity to do it. Um, I think it would have been good if he had apologized and said, "You know what? Maybe I should not have done that." But the other thing is that I don't think he wrote it. A lot of these things I don't think he writes. Because I don't believe that he has the capacity or at least the n- know-how to be able to put things together on paper like that grammatically. His sentences are often run-on sentences or they don't make sense. And so I think like someone, the tweet boy or truth boy or copy boy, wrote it for him, and he said, it's fine. Go ahead and send it out. But
Well,
the
that's not
thing is,
really how it works. Being a guy that was in the room, if I was Trump and say you were me, he would say, Michael, he goes, send out this post on my truth. And then he would dictate it out. And while you're dictating it out, you're the one typing it in. All right. And then he'll have you read it back to him. And then he'll say, post it.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think
Right.
he did. I think he needs someone else to go, you may want to say this or do this and blah, blah, blah. That doesn't make sense when you read it back. You know what I'm saying?
The
So
point is, nobody put it out without his okay.
without,
And
yeah.
that's the
So the
part
point
that's
is
not
that
okay.
that it's out there,
Yeah.
but also it doesn't. Look, it is the exact opposite of what Rob Reiner said about Charlie Kirk after
Yep.
Charlie Kirk died. And he said it was awful, it was horrific. I love what his wife said about forgiveness. And I mean, it was just a big human stand up thing to say, compassionate, empathetic. Donald Trump, none of those. And I think, look, if something happened to Donald Trump, I think that Rob Reiner would probably say the same, would have the same sort of
By the
sentiment.
way, Rob Reiner did say that when there was the attempt on Trump's life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that there is no place in this country for this type of political violence. But who? would not say something like that, right? I mean, you don't have to agree with somebody to not want them executed or murdered. I mean, this is just basic human decency.
Well, he wants people who disagree with him to happen. I mean, he calls people treasonous, and what is that? Treasonous is punishable. Treason is punishable by what? Or
By death.
seditious.
Yeah, by
Seditious.
death. In fact,
Sedition is
you know what?
punishable by
Do you know
what? He
what the
says that
penalty?
about all the people he's, like Letitia James and or he said that about not Letitia James, the Congress, the lawmakers, the Democratic lawmakers who said you don't have to follow unlawful orders from your commander if you're in the military, because that's sedition, that's
You're talking
treasonous.
about Mark Kelly. You're talking about a guy
Yeah.
who gave his entire life, as all of them have done. They put their life on the line for our Constitution, our democratic republic. But do you know what yes, it's, but do you know what the penalty for treason or sedition is?
What?
It's either firing squad or
Squat,
to
yeah.
be hung.
Or hang, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. It's just this is crazy talk.
Yeah. I mean, but look
As
who
your
it
mom
is.
would say, "Don, this is crazy talk."
Let me ask you about this. Can we talk about Vanity Fair?
Yes, of course.
Wow. I
I
mean,
was right.
what did they it never works out. I mean, look, you remember what happened at CNN with the whole letting a reporter follow you around for months and write things about you. It never really works out. And Susie Wiles of all people. I'm glad the article came out because it gives it gives insight into that this White House is really not about policy. It's about grievance. It's about its dysfunction. It's vengeance. So it's about revenge. So you know this White House is really not about what a traditional White House is for, and that is looking out for the people and trying to help the American people and implement some policy that is beneficial to the entire country. Instead, they're all like in there trying to, buddy up to Donald Trump, and there are people who are have their own little sort of fiefdoms within the administration, and Susie Wiles, who is the chief of staff, says, "Hey, look, when there's a tie among us, Donald Trump has the deciding vote." And so
Donald
she's
Trump
saying
has
she
the
really can't
deciding
control
vote,
him.
but he is the deciding vote even if it's a 10-0, right? He doesn't care. His opinion is the only one that matters. So all 10 could say, "No, we shouldn't do this." He says we're doing it, and they all end up falling in line, and they're doing it. Now, what Don is referring to as it related to me with the piece that was done, that was by Olivia Nuzzi. All right. The one who you may remember had the affair with RFK Jr.
What I
That
was referring to, which one? What are you talking
when you
about?
said that they followed me around and they report.
No, no, that's not. I wasn't referring to that one.
Oh, 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 oh.
That's not, okay, yeah,
Oh,
no,
so
I was
anyway,
not
well,
referring to
that was one that also had sort of like a bite sting to it, but that was a setup. There she was sleeping with RFK Jr., and she's following me around, not like what they did with Susie Wiles. Do you know how many interviews that they conducted with Susie Wiles for this Vanity Fair article? 11.
11 over a year.
11 interviews. It's almost as stupid as when Jared set up that Woodward, series of interviews that were on tape. Remember that?
Mhm.
When he set that up, and basically Trump turned around and said things like, "Yeah, I knew that people were going to die from COVID, but I didn't want people to panic, so I lied to them." Right? Things like that. You know, these interviews are never smart, especially not for somebody like Susie Wiles. But the problem with this whole administration, the problem with each and every one of them, they are from Mike Johnson to Besson to Hassett to Lutnick to Schmucklick to this one to that one. They're all fighting every day for 10 minutes of airtime. That's all that they want. They want to come on television, specifically Fox, because they know Trump watches it. And as long as you are playing to the party of one, then your position is safe. You get the phone call or the text message from the boss saying, great job last night. And all of a sudden, it's like the light comes down from heaven and it lands on top of your head. Right, keep singing. And all of a sudden, this light comes down on top of your head. And you feel the warmth, the glow, the love of the Trump, right? And that's what they're all looking for. And that's why they all say the same thing. Imagine if I come out and I say, there is no one better than Don Lemon on any podcast anywhere. Nobody knows more. Nobody is more personable.
That's true.
Well, I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm just telling you, right? He watches it all the time. And then you turn around and say, hey, that was a great statement. Why? Well, because he's an egomaniac. He's narcissistic. And as long as you're talking, it's, like that old expression, enough of me talking about me. Now it's time for you to talk about me.
Yeah.
That's all that this is, a 24/7 manipulation of the media to stroke one man's ego.
Can I ask you something? Why is he? It
Can I
feels
ask
like
you
it's.
why nobody's hitting the hearts?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know why people aren't hitting the hearts. Like, what the hell, people? You guys have to hit the heart. Smash the screen. Hit the
Yeah.
like and subscribe.
Smash that shit.
Let me ask you, why is he? Donald Trump has this sort of 1990s mentality of media now, because he's obsessed with corporate media or just traditional media. And I thought from the election that he would learn, like, the conversations are actually being had where we are, right? And for the few people who watch, I mean, look, and maybe it's because older people still watch, and so he wants to be reflected back into. He wants to see himself reflected in the way that he wants to in the medium through which his peers see him. You understand what I'm saying?
Not
Because
exactly.
why is he always watching?
Oh, because watching is easier than reading. You say,
Mm.
I like to read. I was fortunate, believe it or not, when I went away to Otisville. Most important thing is the ability to pass time constructively. Those people that laid in bed, that sat around, did nothing, time goes very, very slowly. But when you're occupied, like I was in writing Disloyal, my book, the memoir,
Mhm.
when I was working, when I was reading other books that people had sent to me, well, time goes by, right? Much, much quicker. And you feel productive. He doesn't like to read. And so instead of reading, he needs to get his news source from somewhere. And that's how he gets it. He gets it from watching, believe it or not, Fox News, Newsmax, OAN, MS Now, right? Even CNN. He watches this stuff for two reasons. One, to obtain the information, and two, of equal import, to see who's saying what about him.
But if he calls them fake news, then why does he care? And also, why would he say that it's a reliable source? I mean, it's a contradiction. It's hypocrisy.
Well, everything is a contradiction, right? Just because he says it's fake news doesn't obviously mean that it's fake news. It's predicated on fact. I mean, right? So he wants to see that Caitlin Collins is saying something negative about him. He wants to see that Don Lemon is saying something negative about him, or, for example, like a Rachel Maddow. He watches all of this. In fact, what's interesting is he has multiple televisions, and they go at the same time. He just turns the volume up on one and down on another. And then when something with him comes on, he'll automatically switch volumes, to the other television set. It's truly amazing. It really
It's
is. It's
truly
truly
some crazy
amazing.
insecurity there that he would do some shit like that. I don't get it. What do you think this? What do you think this
John, you
Vanity
know what I
Fair?
have to compare that to?
Well,
Imagine if I came to your home and every picture on the wall was a picture of yourself.
what's wrong with that? Don't come to my house.
Right?
No,
I mean,
joking.
it says something. But by the way, I want you to remember, like at the Trump organization or even at any of the clubs, there's nothing but pictures of him or articles on the walls that are framed about the Trump organization, the Trump name, or him. I mean, everything has to be a testament to him.
Well, he loves pictures except for the ones that are in the Epstein files. Michael Cohen, I
You
gotta
know what that
go.
is?
Yeah.
To everybody that's watching with us, you know what that is? That's Don Lemon on NyQuil.
No, where is my? I have the thing here. No, that's Don Lemon on Mucinex.
Uh,
But anyways, love you, buddy. I'll see you next time. Okay. Have a
always.
great one. I'll see you before Christmas, so I won't say Merry Christmas too soon.
I hope
Merry
so.
Christmas, everybody else. Okay. Michael Cohen. Hey, Lemon Cohen, out. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.